Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and we are still watching and reviewing Heroes vs. Aliens. This is part 3, and we're on Arrow, which is season 5, but episode 100 of the series. So this was pretty big for the show, even though I haven't been too fond of the show lately in the last couple seasons. I was curious to see what they would do for this 100th episode. Well, the group, or at least members of the group, were abducted by the aliens. The episode opens with Oliver, and you see that he's engaged to Dinah Laurel Lance. And first of all, seeing Katie Cassidy back on this show, even if it was just for this episode, was great. I loved it. I was very happy to see her. And seeing that, at least in this fantasy world that the aliens have created, the aliens have them in these pods. It's almost like the Matrix or something. And in this fantasy, Oliver is engaged to Dinah Lance. And I can't tell you how awesome that was to see. Robert and Moira Queen, their parents, alive and well, the same actors. That was great. That really was. Sarah, she arrives, and the quick moment where Sarah reacts to Laurel having a canary necklace was interesting. Oliver and his father are in this alleyway late at night. So what do you think is going to happen? They're about to get robbed, possibly killed by some guy. And then the Green Arrow shows up to save them. And it was cool. It was cool just to see a Green Arrow, and especially seeing Oliver's reaction to him. So Oliver, he's having these flashes of seeing events that happen in real life, right? So we're seeing flashes of all of these events that's happened on the show from the earlier seasons. And not only did I like that, even the moment where Laurel tried to comfort him and he saw her like dead in the hospital gown, like that was freaky, it was creepy, it was like a horror movie for a second. But those flashes of the earlier seasons of the show, it reminded me so much on how much better this show used to be back in season 1 and 2. Like it made me want to go and rewatch those seasons again. He also has a conversation, I want to talk about this. He has a conversation in this fantasy world with Quentin Lance. And I really like this, especially just when Quentin stopped him and said, hey, well, first he said, you better not be having cold feet because I'll shoot you for breaking my daughter's heart. That made me laugh. But when he said, hey, you used to be this punk kid and I didn't like you and all this stuff, but you've grown to be this man that I'm proud to call my son-in-law, that I'm proud to see with my daughter. And just that was a great moment. It really was a real human moment for Quentin. We don't get too many of those often anymore. So let's cut to the real world, shall we? So we see Cisco, clearly my favorite character, Cisco. Fuck him, by the way. And if you want to know why, watch my review yesterday. Cisco shows up. He's with Felicity and the group, and they're trying to figure out where the group is. What happened to them? Yada, yada. They figure out something about alien technology, and they're trying to hack it, and yada, 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 yada. I was sitting here during these scenes, and I was realizing just how much I don't give a shit about any of these side characters. I've talked about this before. I'll just briefly mention that Curtis, trying to be funny, I don't find him funny. I think I found him amusing last season, but now it's forced. It's lame, really lame writing and jokes for this character. It does not do him any favor, especially where I'm trying to buy him as a potential hero. Even Cisco stopped and said, wow, you have a tech guy that references movies too? How original. So even the show is acknowledging that all of these CW shows have their archetype like characters. Each and every one of them has the same tech guy who quotes the same type of movies. They just all act the same. So I guess seeing Cisco, Felicity, and Curtis all in one room just made me realize, wow, there is nothing that special about any of these characters. It's a little pathetic, but even they had to point it out. So you get Wild Dog, and I've stated how dumb I think this character is for so many reasons. Jason Voorhees or Casey Jones wannabe, whatever he wants to be with that hockey mask. So he's being a dick. He's being a dick to Flash and Supergirl. Why? Because they have powers. Because they're metahumans. Okay, he tried to say that, because usually metahumans are evil it was stupid. It really was. It was random. It was forced. It was just to create a conflict for a second. So then when he goes in there and gets taken, or not taken, but he was about to get taken out by Cyber Chick, or whatever the hell she was called, and he proves himself to be useless once again because he would have died. Flash has to save him, and then Flash and Supergirl have this awesome badass moment where they take this woman, throw her around, and that tag team speed move that they did, I don't know what you call it, but you need to name it something. It was fucking awesome. So of course he came around at the end because, we have to have a moment where he didn't like them, and then he comes around. How cliche. Let's go back to the fantasy world. We see Oliver, he just on instinct finds the Arrow Cave, which was great. He just kind of knew somehow where it was. And he sees fake Felicity, and then Diggle shows up as Green Arrow, and this isn't the first time we've seen Diggle as Green Arrow. There was an episode a couple seasons back where he had to pretend to be Green Arrow to cover Oliver for an alibi and whatnot, and he looked badass in the suit back then, and he still looked cool in the suit now. So I like the moment where he's figuring things out. They're talking to each other. Diggle was very intense. I liked it, but they each were remembering each other, names and whatnot. Felicity still being annoying even in the fake world. Because of this, Oliver missed the rehearsal dinner that he was supposed to have with Laurel, so she was upset with him. He comes in and he has a conversation with her, and the conversation that these two have, where she's upset, but she loves him so much, she just wants to have this wedding. And Oliver almost has a speech where he says, I love you, that's all that's important now, you're the only one I want to be with. All of this stuff that felt real, felt natural, felt way more natural than he ever has with Felicity. That's for sure. And this just made me even more want these two to be together. I know they killed Laurel off for whatever dumb reason that they did that. But like seeing these moments, seeing them together, I'm sure fans who wanted them together, like in the comics, I'm sure they got even more pissed because this is just a reminder that we're not going to get this ever, it seems like. So then Diggle shows up and he's remembering stuff, they're talking it over, and then Deathstroke shows up, and I got very excited because I remember Stephen Amell tweeted a picture of this months ago teasing the episode, so I thought, holy crap, Deathstroke is coming back. And they have this quick fight, and then Sarah just shows up and kills the guy, and I said, what the fuck? So I was anticipating the return of Deathstroke. I mean, I know it wasn't Manu Bennett, the actor from season 2. I know in season 1, I know it wasn't him. And it would have been that much cooler if somehow during the fight his helmet came off and it was the actor. That would have been awesome, but fine, whatever. You couldn't get him, so you had this person be the character. Why did we have such a short fight? I was so pissed. That was one of the things I was looking forward to the most, was a fight with this character, and they just quickly were done with it. It was cool to see Sarah show her assassin skills and she be the one to kill him. Okay, fine, that was cool. It happened way too quick. So they figure it out. Pretty much everybody is figuring out what's going on, and there's a smoke building that they figure out maybe that's the way out. And at this party, Oliver, he talks to Thea, and everybody else has agreed we're going to go to this building and get out of here, but Thea is the one who's like, I don't know, I like this, I know it's fake, yada yada, but our life sucks, our real life sucks, and in this world our family is back, they feel real, they act real. I understood where she was coming from. Maybe any other scenario, I'd be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Go to the real world. And there was a part of me saying that, but I got it. I really understood why she wanted to stay. And it was a nice emotional scene between them. I swear, this episode, I don't know if I've mentioned this, I loved this episode. I did. I haven't enjoyed an Arrow episode in a long, long time. And this just, It dealt with situations, not just with nostalgic and in past seasons and past characters, but just our real characters reacting to it and dealing with it. Like a scene like this really worked, really made me feel for Thea. But then when Oliver said, okay, see you later, take care of yourself, goodbye, I lost my mind. I said, are we really about to leave Thea in this alien fantasy world here? Really? Bullshit. I call bullshit. I know she's a grown person. She can make her own decisions and choices. Sure, fine. But this is aliens we're talking about. How can he leave his sister like that? I don't care if she's kicking and screaming. You take her, you pick her up, and you bring her with you. That was ridiculous. Now, okay, fine. When they leave, you get Deathstroke back. You get Malcolm Merlyn, and you get Damien Darhk, and that was cool. It was very cool to see all of them fighting basically the best villains that they've had, right? At least that was the theory, and I liked the fight. It was in the rain, and it looked cool. That's when Thea did come back, and fine. Maybe there's supposed to be a point of it's her choice. We have to make her make the choice, but it's just, I can't fathom that Oliver was about to leave her in this world. Like, that just blows my mind. So they get done with the fight, and then we get another heart-wrenching moment where Laurel comes out. Sarah has to say, I'm sorry, goodbye. And then Oliver, again, they have a moment, and she's practically begging him to not leave. And he gives her a speech to almost like, it's like the writers telling the fans, hey, Laurel was a great person, and she really did love Oliver, but it's not meant to be in our universe, and they're not meant to be together. It was supposed to be their way of Oliver saying, you deserve better, but it's not going to happen. And I don't know if that's going to really please fans who wanted them together, who don't give a shit about Oliver and Felicity being together. Like, because I don't care about it. I'd much rather see this. We need to find a way to bring Laurel back. Please, please get these two back together, because the chemistry was great, and I just really felt for them as far as being lost loves or soulmates. Like, I really felt that in this episode. So that happens. They go to the building, they find the portal, they get through, they wake up, they see the aliens, they start to fight them off, shooting them with the guns, and then they go into a ship and they fly off. Now, this is where the episode got really silly. Like, I know the concept and everything was weird in and of itself, but for some reason, this whole alien thing, it feels forced. I think somebody commented in one of my in my video yesterday saying that this just wasn't built up enough. This whole alien invasion thing, it just was sprung up out of nowhere. And maybe that's true. Maybe I'm having trouble really buying this, or the fact that the last couple minutes of this episode turned into Star Wars with the alien ships shooting at them and they're trying to fly away. And then Nate Haywood from Legends of Tomorrow saves them and picks them up. And we're going to continue on. We're going to continue tomorrow with this whole thing. Now, look, I guess I'm not loving this Heroes versus Aliens thing like I thought I was going to. Like, I was really looking forward to it, and it didn't work. But this episode, as far as being the 100th episode for Arrow, as far as bringing those old actors back and just reminding me why I liked the show in the first place, and why I liked these characters in the first place, it did a good job in that. But the problem is that now we have to go back into the real world, and we have to deal with the real problems and situations, and that's aliens. So, overall, really good episode. For the most part, really good episode. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of it? Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it? Are you digging this whole alien thing? Because I'm not. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!